Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke blows up, her duty-bound theory bold, and the Beautiful has Brooke Logan acting so sure that Ridge, Forrester's heart still belongs to her that she even pities Taylor. Hayes this week on the CBS soap Brooks. Theory is that Ridge feels obligated to commit himself to Taylor. She feels sorry for Taylor being his second choice, and wonders why she would even want him under these circumstances. Brooke also thinks Ridge will eventually return to her. But a desperate Taylor blows a hole in her rival's theory when she gets Ridge to accept her marriage proposal. Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, has only herself to thank for Taylor Hayes's, Rebecca Budig, mad dash to propose marriage. Taylor saw Brooke so sure of herself when she showed up at the Forrester mansion unannounced on Bold and Beautiful this week. The Logan matriarch planted a seed for Taylor about Ridge Forrester's, Thorsten K., jealousy over Nick Marone, Jack Wagner. Brooke poured it on thick about how Ridge wants his Logan to stay away from Nick. Taylor Hayes became even more insecure about her future with Ridge, thanks to Brooke this week on Bold and Beautiful. So, by the time Brooke left the Forrester mansion, Taylor was wringing her hands and looking anxious. This put Taylor on edge and sent her straight to Ridge with a plan to cement their relationship. And it worked. Ridge's response when Taylor pops the question ends with him saying, "I want to marry you. I want to be your husband." On Bold and the Beautiful this week, we see Nick at a table at Il Giardino. His seat is concealed behind some shrubs from Ridge and Taylor's table. While they don't see him, Nick is in earshot of Taylor's proposal to Ridge, and it looks like Nick wastes no time bringing the news to Brooke Logan this week. Bold and the Beautiful spoilers have Brooke crushed by the engagement news, so it seems that Brooke, who wants nothing more than for Ridge to come back home to her, blew it. By prancing around Taylor Hayes and tossing out digs to make her think Ridge Forrester is jealous, Brooke Logan set this engagement in motion. For weeks, the tension surrounding Brooke Logan has simmered beneath the surface like a kettle about to shriek. She's always been passionate, impulsive, and quick to follow her heart. But recently, she's tried to convince herself that duty should outweigh desire. That dignified restraint could replace the fire she's famous for. But Brooke isn't built for quiet compliance, and now, the theory she clung to is about to go up in flames, with a spectacular Brooke-style detonation that shakes Los Angeles to its core. Brooke's duty theory starts to crumble. It began innocently enough. After years of heartbreak and scandal, Brooke convinced herself she owed it to her family, and to Ridge, to act with discipline. To be a stabilizing force rather than the whirlwind of passion she's historically been. She told herself she wasn't chasing Ridge, wasn't chasing drama, and wouldn't allow herself to be the center of another romantic storm. She even voiced this to her sisters. A duty-bound Brooke, grounded in logic, loyalty, and restraint. She insisted she'd remain poised, composed, and respectful of boundaries, especially with Taylor and Ridge's fragile peace in play. But beneath her polished composure, emotions have been stacking like dynamite. The spark, a Logan versus Forrester divide, reignites when Ridge recently backed Steffi and Thomas over Hope and Brooke. Again, it reawakened old battle scars. Brooke's sense of fairness clashed with her desire to avoid conflict. She swallowed her protests for a while, promising herself she wouldn't ignite another Logan-Forrester war. But the latest, confrontation over Hope's autonomy and Thomas's involvement at Forrester Creations lit the match. Steffi's smug warnings, Thomas's subtle provocation, Ridge's quiet siding with his children. All of it chipped away at Brooke's self-restraint until she could practically feel her duty-bound persona suffocating her. Then came the breaking point. Ridge told her that sometimes doing what's right means stepping back. Brooke didn't explode then, but the tremor started. Hope pushes the button. Hope Logan, always perceptive of her mother's emotional climate, sensed Brooke's internal battle. She assured her mother she could handle her own life, her own mistakes, and her complicated feelings, particularly where Thomas was concerned. But Hope also did something Brooke didn't see coming. She gave her permission to stop pretending. "Mom," Hope said, "you don't have to carry the weight of everyone else's expectations. You've spent years doing what people think is right. When was the last time you did what you wanted? That question rattled Brooke more than Ridge's doubts or Steffi's barbs ever could. The duty-bound theory suddenly felt like a lie she'd forced herself to wear. Ridge walks into the line of fire. Ridge, believing Brooke was still in self-control mode, decided to clear the air. He approached her with that familiar Forrester calm, trying to rationalize his recent decisions. He spoke of peace, balance, and responsibility. He reminded her, again, of the importance of doing the right thing. And that was the moment her fuse hit flame. Brooke's eyes filled not with tears, but clarity. The room shifted. Her voice didn't tremble. It sharpened. She told Ridge exactly what she'd refused to admit aloud. Duty is a word people hide behind when they're afraid to choose passion. That she was tired of swallowing truths to keep the peace, tired of pretending Ridge's neutrality wasn't just selective loyalty. She accused him, calmly at first, of acting as though her feelings were volatile while his were righteous. Ridge tried to counter, but Brooke's years of self-denial had piled into a verbal avalanche. You don't get to tell me what's appropriate when you've spent your life bouncing between obligation and desire, she said. I'm done pretending restraint is strength. My passion has always been my strength, and I won't apologize for that anymore. Ridge stood there stunned. This wasn't Brooke crying or begging or firing off impulsively. This was Brooke, unleashed and certain. Taylor and Steffi walk into the fallout. Just when Ridge thought he might recover his footing, Taylor and Steffi arrived, drawn by the raised voices and the emotional pressure in the air. Taylor tried to play mediator, encouraged calm. But Brooke turned to her with unnerving serenity. I've spent months respecting your space and your peace, Brooke said, and I expect the same respect for mine. I won't mute myself because it makes others more comfortable. Steffi, of course, had something to say, and she made the mistake of accusing Brooke of breaking her promise to stay out of Ridge's decisions. That's when Brooke's theory officially detonated. I don't live by rules you wrote, she told Steffi. I don't owe you silence. I don't owe Taylor a vow, and I'm not duty-bound to anything that diminishes me. Steffi's expression soured, and Taylor looked quietly concerned, but neither could deny the shift in the room. Brooke wasn't reviving old drama. She was rewriting the narrative. The Logan women rally Katie and Donna, having heard about what happened, found Brooke later, expecting her to be shaken. Instead, she was energized, lighter, almost reborn. Donna whispered, You finally dropped the act. Katie added, You don't need to shrink to seem noble. Brooke didn't disagree. She confessed that trying to play by other people's rules only made her lose touch with the woman she truly is. And that woman? She's not demure or diplomatically silent. She's a storm in heels who speaks with conviction and fights for herself and those she loves. Ridge's reaction. Regret, awe, and confusion later, when Ridge attempted to address what happened. He was confronted with a Brooke who didn't backtrack or apologize. She told him she wasn't chasing him, but she wouldn't silence herself to keep his world balanced. You want order, she said. I want truth. If those two things collide, that's not my burden anymore. Ridge didn't know whether to chase her, challenge her, or rethink everything. He saw something he hadn't expected. The version of Brooke, who once captivated him not through chaos, but through unapologetic passion and authenticity. What comes next? Brooke's blow-up isn't destruction, it's ignition. She's not looking to pick fights, but she won't be shamed for speaking up. She's not suppressing her instincts to make Ridge comfortable. She's not catering to Taylor's peace treaty or Steffi's superiority complex. She's reclaiming the fire that built her legacy, and this new, yet familiar, Brooke could upend everything. Ridge may finally realize quiet. Compliance was never what he loved about her. Taylor might feel the stability she thought she'd preserved begin to crack. Steffi will quickly realize the Logan matriarch is not stepping back anymore. Hope, inspired by her mother's shift, may double down on her own independence. The Forresters will brace for a Brooke who no longer bites her tongue. The theory is dead. Long live the flame. Brooke's duty-bound theory was doomed from the start. She tried to package herself in diplomacy and restraint, but passion like hers doesn't disappear. It reroots, then erupts, And now that she's blown away that false theory, everyone around her will have to face the truth. Brooke Logan doesn't follow rules. She rewrites them. And this time, she's not asking permission.